Okay, everybody, please put your glasses on right now. We're going to do a test. Does it work? Oh, okay. All right. First success for technology. All right, now, are those glasses working good? I'm not naked, am I? Oh, no. These are the good glasses. Remember growing up as a kid and seeing them in the magazines? Oh, yeah. Yeah, thanks. Now I can get along with it. Okay, you can take your glasses off. Just a little illustration. So, I have a bunch of quotes from famous people, and since people in the back may not be able to read it, I'm going to talk about it. So the first quote I have is, "The most important kind of freedom is to be what you really are. You trade in your reality for a role. You give up your reality to feel, and exchange put on a mask." Now, this is by Jim Morrison, and I didn't realize that, much before he died, he basically described Facebook. So this is my altered reality. So we already established the fact that people, for a long time, are already trying to enhance reality, alter reality. So this is Facebook. Facebook is a place where everybody can live a different life, an altered reality of what they have today. But I want to share a story with you. A couple years ago, I was in a conference, and I was scheduled to be in this conference with this woman by the name of Shannon. And she was an expert in sentiment analysis and in Twitter and doing that all type of analytics on web, social media. So something happened where she couldn't be at the event, but I friended her, on Facebook, and we've been kind of following each other's lives for the past 3 years. She moved to San Francisco, she moved back to Detroit, she's now moved to Cincinnati. And we were at a conference, I was at a conference 2 weeks ago, and I'm sitting having breakfast, and suddenly I look up, somebody sits next to me, and I look up, and there she was. We're going to try to make this work. We practiced from the other side. So suddenly I'm confronted with someone's face that I'd known for 3 years, but I'd never had a relationship with, never spoke to. So it was really, really odd. And she did the same thing. She did a double take, and we kind of pointed at each other. We said, "Oh, how are you?" But what was interesting is we had nothing to talk about. I mean, after all this time of being Facebook friends, we really didn't have anything to discuss because we already knew each other. And it was a little bit strange to realize that a relationship with someone I never met, and then when I met her, we didn't really have that face-to-face relationship. And of course, now we're still friends. She went home, and we continue that relationship. So I'm sure everybody has this. So I work very long days, and about a year ago, my wife and I found ourselves to be tweeting each other during the day, sending each other messages, little love notes. So, here's an illustration of a way you alter your reality. And we do it every day. I was sitting in the back there, and my wife texted me, "I love you." And, so it's one of those things. Again, we probably say more we love each other over texting than we do in reality. So my contention is we're getting to the point where reality isn't enough, that, augmented reality, of course, this is the technology of augmented reality, has to do more, to allow you to express yourself. So here's my heart, it's beating, I wear my heart on my sleeve, if you capture it, on and on. So that's the reality. So then, humankind cannot bear very much reality. T.S. Eliot said that. And so here I'm going to give you some real reality. So we have a Valentine heart, and suddenly we have a real heart. Another illustration. Again, I've worked with some VC companies that have taken C-scan data, and they put them into a 3D reality heart, whatever they're scanning, almost like an ultrasound. And a surgeon can basically do the analysis of that heart before they do the actual surgery. So this is a Royal Oak company that we're looking at to invest in. So there's all kind of ways to use augmented reality and use different technologies to solve problems. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. This is Albert Einstein's quote. And of course, we know Albert Einstein he's famous for inventing time travel. Of course, then we have the DeLorean. And you can, let's see if you can see through it. Yeah, you can see through it. So very realistic one. Put it on the ground, get in it. So again, we all know CAD modeling's been around a long time, but to be able to do it in an augmented reality fashion, it has a lot of practical applications. So I'm showing you technology. I'm going to talk about the technology a little bit too, because it's really important. The technology right now, the way I see it, we figured this out ourselves at Maker Faire. We did an app. We decided to do one for the iPad for this event. The challenge with the technology is a solution looking for a problem. So as an entrepreneur and as a technical venture technologist, I'm looking for ways, I'm looking for problems, I'm looking for you to give me ideas, use cases where we can apply this technology, because there aren't really a lot of practical ones beyond marketing. Of course, John Lennon said reality leaves a lot to the imagination, and if you have the yellow submarine. I thought it was a good quote, and I didn't know if anybody would be offended if we put Yoko Ono up there. We had a long meeting on this yesterday. But again, John Lennon was a dreamer, very much imaginative, right? So he had a lot of quotes about reality and about, as an artist, how he expressed reality and how, how he expressed it in his music and in his art. So we have another quote by Mark Twain. Reality can be beaten enough with enough imagination. And this is a little thatched hut. Not so much about Mark Twain, but again, it's a 3D model. And if anybody's interested in the technology, how we do it, be happy to talk about it. All right. So we were talking about companies and risks they took. And one company, so you bring this one right back up. So one company we talked about, Colonel Sanders. We talked about Starbucks. So we talked about Starbucks. Starbucks was started by 3 gentlemen who just had an idea. And I can tell you today, if they came in my office and said, we're going to sell coffee for $5 a cup, we're going to sell big cups of coffee, we would have thought, I probably would have thrown them out. It would have been hard, back to your question, it would have been hard to say, take their dream and vision and say, you know what, that's worth investing in. But, look what happened after so many years. Then you try to take the ultimate reality and you take it to reality. Get the cup of coffee. All right. I'll be here all week. Then we have another dreamer, and I brought out this quote because it's Tupac. Reality is wrong, dreams are for real. And we all know the story of Tupac Shakur. It's a very tragic story. But if you read about him and read his artistry and poetry, he really did have some interesting things to say about reality and life and how you could perceive it. And again, we thought this was a good dreamscape illustration for him. All right, I'm going to get into practical purposes a little bit. But so you have Tim Burton. Tim Burton did Nightmare Before Christmas, a lot of movies. What was his latest movie? I saw it. Frankenweenie, was that it? Yeah, very good movie. Very surreal, very dark, really interesting music. And he said, one person's craziness is another person's reality. And of course, this is Jack Skellington from Nightmare Before Christmas. And Jack Skellington saying, and I'm not going to sing it, just because I cannot see it does not mean I cannot believe it. And again, I thought it was a good illustration. Good thing of 3D modeling. You can make him move around. Good illustration. You can see how the technology works, thank goodness. And then, of course, one of my favorite quotes from Mythbusters, I reject your reality and I substitute my own. So if anybody watches Mythbusters, they blow stuff up, right? So I thought it was a good quote. And again, this is what we do. If you look at the way reality is changing before our eyes, and technology is accelerating. Josh talked about the Electoral College. I thought that was really good because that was reality for all of us growing up. And it takes someone to take a step back and say, we need to blow this up and do something different. I mean, I'll contend that the way nutrition is taught to children is totally wrong. The whole food pyramid is wrong. There's all kinds of studies out of Harvard, and I think technology is going to be an accelerator of change. And one of the things that I think is really interesting, so in 2008, business slowed down. Every business slowed down. The economy slowed down, recession. Technology kept progressing merrily along. If anybody knows Moore's Law, the whole principle between the advancement of technology and speed and the cost and everything like that, it still went on. So what we have in the past 5 years, 4 years, is technology advance. Companies have not been able to keep up with the technology to exploit it. So what has happened, there's a huge gap between exploitable technology and technology that exists for medicine, for anything. So what that has created is a tremendous risk to companies that aren't investing, huge risk, because it creates a leapfrog for people that want to jump ahead and grab the technology and to leverage it against older business models. I'll give you an example. So at Compuware, I always talk about in the suite, I'm not afraid of IBM or Computer Associates or BMC or Hewlett-Packard. We can compete with them. We know who they are. It's 4 students with laptops in their dorm. That's the ones that scare us. That's one reason why I invest in young companies, because I want to understand the thought process, what they're doing, and if there's some great idea, we're going to invest in, we will own some of that intellectual property. That's happening over and over. You take a tablet and you take cloud technology on Amazon Web Services, you take some of the back-end open source software packages like Ruby on Rails, that's all free. Amazon Web Services is unbelievably cheap. Tablets are getting cheaper and cheaper. You take that arsenal of technology, and if you understand it really well, you can look for business models to compete with. And I'm seeing more and more of that. What we're missing here, and what we really need in Detroit, is more technical founders, technical skills founders. Maria from Bisdom was here, and she talks about that all the time. We need students coming out of all the universities that don't have a huge student loan debt over their head, that they can take risks and they can get into technology, and then they can find the dreamers, find the designers, and the business people that we can put together perspective and run to that vision, because the real value in technology right now is our ability to deliver. And again, like I said, we have tremendous ability to deliver technology. When we did the Maker Faire, I can show you that app. It was augmented reality, and I took it to Chris. I said, what could we do for TEDx? Could we do an augmented reality app for presentation? And it sounded easy at first, and then they dug in, and for a long time, and it was really hard. And we do these type of projects because they're important for us to learn about them, because we need to know how to do it so we can bring it to companies to do. So let's talk about some practical applications. So I have here, does everybody know what the Xprize is? So we had the Space Xprize, right? And so we have a medical one coming up very soon. It's basically build this, this is a toy, but it's the tricorder, right? So basically what they want us to do is to be able to have an instrument that will provide diagnostic information. But can you imagine if you had a way to, for augmented reality, to look at my vital signs in real time, and then to compare them to everyone in my demographic, multiple demographics, to see where my health is. How powerful that would be. If you could instrument blood pressure and blood sugar and all these things at the same time, and then be able to analyze it, a doctor be able to analyze it in real time, the power that could bring. So again, whether it's the ability to recognize me as a person and pull up my medical records, because it's just not codes anymore, be able to see me, doctor can see my medical records, including vital signs of my current health. So this would be real time, look backwards, and then the ability to go down and to look at different vitals. That's a real practical purpose. So the Innovation Institute. Talk about, do you want your first $1 million idea? All right, so here's a good one. So all of us guys know when we were single, you go into a bar and we think we're smooth and sophisticated when we approach a woman, hi there, give her our line. And in reality, we look like this to the woman, right? We don't look anything like our mind. But imagine if we could have an app that would influence her perception of us, so that when she sees us, she sees that. It's kind of virtual, augmented beer goggles, right? All right, so I'm going to finish up with a couple more. This is a really enjoyable one. So I picked a quote by Joyce Kilmer, and I changed it. So poems are made like fools by me, but only God can make reality. So I said. So if you look at, this is a very cool example of augmented reality. So I'm going to put it down. Can you pick that up? Or should I? So you can see, I can hide behind it. So you can imagine if you could, virtually landscape your home or have things inside your house based on virtual technology. Again, it's a nice artistic design. I'm not sure a practical application yet, but again, it's a real interesting way to take some technology and to be able to use it in a way. I could decorate my Christmas tree real quick if I had something like this. All right, I'm just going to do one more. I'm going to finish up. So the moral of the story is we as humans are always trying to change our reality based on technology available at the time. And I'm saying at this point in time that we have the ability to use technology and apply it in different ways. And again, what I really want to illustrate to this group is that we have technologies out there that are solutions looking for problems. And we're good problem solvers, but we're not good at defining the problems. So that's where we need the experts in the fields to help us define the problems. We'll come back to you. We think we can design, develop, and deliver technology really quickly. So I'm asking all of you to join us. And one of the final ones I tried to do was going to pull a little Clint Eastwood and say, Mr. President, congratulations on your win. And then, but it didn't quite work out that way. So reality continues to ruin my life, and so I need augmented reality. So thank you very much, everybody.